Hello and welcome to the Grammaticus tutorial on double meanings. Today we're going to look at this English-based question which often appears on the Lincolnshire GL verbal reasoning paper. Let's have a little look what we've been asked to consider today. In each question there are two pairs of words. Choose a new word that goes equally well with both pairs of words. So what that's asking us to do is to find a word really with two meanings that will go equally well with one set of words as another. Let's have a little look at a couple of examples before we consider the questions. So I have two words and I've written them both down twice. So we've got the word row and we've got the word post, and we've got the word post over here, and we've got the word row over here. Now let's take the top ones first. As I said, we've got row and row. Now you might have looked at those and you might think, okay, she said row and row, but actually I'm seeing row and row. Now if you have row, what does row mean? Well, you might row a boat. You might have a row of books on your bookshelf. So you might have a row of books on a bookshelf. Or you might actually see this word as being row, where you might have an argument. So you can see from this that we have one word, row, that can be said in a different way so that it sounds different, but all these words have a different meaning. We have row as in rowing a boat, row as in a row of books, and row as in an argument. Let's have a little look at the other words we've got here as well. We've got post and post. Well, we might go and post a letter. If we post a letter, that's a verb. We're going to actually do an action. We are posting a letter. We might have some post delivered. It's another name for a letter or for some mail. So that would be post as being a noun. So we've already got two meanings of the word post that have to do with letters. But we've also got another meaning of the word post. You might have a pole or a stick standing up in your garden, or you might have poles that hold up a fence, and often those are referred to as posts. So a post can also be like a pole that you might have, which might support something or that stands up from the ground. Now, this is the whole basis for this type of question. It's where we need to consider words that have two meanings. Let's have a little look at the questions that we've got now. So we've got two pairs of words. We've got sprint and hurry, hyphen and line. Now we're trying to find a word that means the same. There may be words that have something to do with sprinting and hurrying, but it's actually got to mean sprint and hurry. It might have something to do with hyphen and line, but it's got to mean the same as hyphen and line. It can't just be associated with it. So first of all, let's consider sprint and hurry. What does that mean? Well, it means to sort of race about, rush about. That's the meaning of the word to sprint and hurry. We're going to take this group first because it's just at the beginning of the sentence, but the beginning of the question, but you might decide to go for the one that you are most confident with. So I'm going to go for sprint and hurry, bearing in mind it means to race about, to hurry about. Well, I've got the word race here, so I'm not going to cross that out. I can see that that means the same. Mark has nothing at all to do with sprinting and hurrying, so I'm going to cross that out. Well, I could dash about, I could hurry, I could race, I could dash to the shops in the rain. So yes, dash could mean to sprint and hurry, so I'm going to leave that one. Order, well, I can't see that that means to sprint and hurry, so I'm going to cross that out. And run, Well, yes, if I could sprint in a race, I could run in a race. Yes, it does mean the same, so I'm going to leave that one. So I've got possibilities now of race, dash or run. And I'm looking for one of these words now that means hyphen or line. Well, the word hyphen or line is this. It's a little line that we use it as a form of punctuation. So I'm looking for a word that means a line. Well, I've got race. Well, I don't think that means race. I've got dash. Well, yes, sometimes we refer to that as a dash. So we've got to dash, which goes with hurrying, and a dash like this. So straight away I can see that dash is the answer I'm looking for. So I'm going to circle it and then I'm going to mark that on my multiple choice answer sheet. Once I've done that, I'm going to cross that question out. Okay, let's have a little look at question number 2. I've got coil, turn, hurricane and breeze. Now the pair of words I'm most confident with are hurricane and breeze, so I'm going to use those to start with. Hurricane and breeze makes me think of wind and storms and gales, all of those type of things. That's what I'm automatically thinking of. Let's have a little look at the answers I've got down here and let's see if there's any we can dismiss. Well, roll doesn't mean a breeze or a wind or a hurricane or anything like that, so I'm going to get rid of that. I've got wind, so I'm certainly going to leave that one, and I've got gale, which is a strong wind. I'm going to keep that. Twist, well, that doesn't mean breeze, so I'm going to get rid of the word twist. And blow, well, it doesn't mean the same as breeze. Yes, the wind does blow, but it doesn't mean the same, so I'm going to get rid of the word blow. So I'm left with wind and gale. Now I need to have a little look at this pair over here. I've got the word coil and turn, and I've got wind and gale here. Now, neither of those are really jumping out at me at the moment, so I've got to consider, can I pronounce these words in a different way, like we had with row and row earlier? Well, if I look at gale, I can't think of another way of pronouncing the word gale, but with wind I can think, oh, I can pronounce that wind. And if I wind something, if I wind up a piece of string, I coil it up, I roll it up. So I could use the word, I could see that wind could be hurricane or breeze, but wind could mean to coil or to turn. So my answer is going to be wind or wind. And I'm going to circle that, mark it on my multiple choice answer sheet, and then I can cross that question out. Okay, let's have a little look at question number 3. We've got decrease and shrink, pact and arrangement. Well, since we seem to be taking it in order, let's take the first pair here to start with. Now, if something decreases or shrinks, it gets smaller. So we're looking for a word that means to get smaller. Well, deal, I can't think what deal's got to do. I don't think it means to get smaller. Reduce, well, if it reduces in size, yes, it does get smaller, so I'm going to leave reduce. Settlement, I don't think that's got anything to do with anything getting smaller, so I'm going to get rid of settlement. Small, well, it's not to do with getting smaller. If something is small, it's not quite the same, but I'll leave it because I'm not too sure about that one. And then I'm going to have a little look. I've got the word contract. Now, if something contracts, that gets smaller. So I'm left with reduce, small, and contract. Now over here, I've got an arrangement or pact. And I've got to work out which of these words over here means the same as an arrangement or a pact. Well, a pact or an arrangement is an agreement. It's where you agree something. So if we agree something, well, I don't think that's going to I don't think that means anything to do with the word reduce. So I'm going to get rid of reduce. Small doesn't have anything to do with an agreement. But if you make a contract, that's when both sides agree and you often sign something, you form a contract. So contract means to reduce, to get smaller, and it means where you come together and you make an arrangement or an agreement. So contract is the word I'm looking for. I'm going to mark that on my multiple choice answer sheet, and once I've done that, I'm going to cross out question number 3. Okay, finally, let's look at question number 4. We've got 2 pairs here. We've got sturdy and steady, barn and stall. Again, taking it alternately, let's take the second pair this time. So we've got barn and stall. Now, if I think about a barn and a stall, I think about animals and a shelter for animals. Animals might live in a stall or they might live in a barn. It's also a place where I could store probably animal feed and things like that. That's the sort of thing I'm thinking about when I'm looking at those words there. So it's like a shelter. It's probably somewhere something could live or stay, or where I could keep something. Well, I've got stable. Well, I know a stable, I might keep a horse in a stable, so that sort of fits. Rigid doesn't mean that, so I'm going to get rid of rigid. Okay, we've got the word shed. Well, definitely that could fit. House, well, it doesn't really have anything to do with animals, but it is a shelter, so I'll leave it for the time being. And a field, well, it's somewhere where animals might live. I don't think it means the same as a barn or stall, so I'm actually going to get rid of field. Okay, let's have a little look at the words we've got over here. Now, if something is sturdy or it's steady, it means it doesn't move easily. Okay, so I'm looking for a word now down here that means it doesn't move easily. Well, if something's stable, it doesn't move. If the weather is stable, it means that the weather's going to remain fine. Okay, so stable would fit. Stable would fit with barn and stall as well. So that's looking like a possibility. Let's just check the other two we've got over here, just in case. Well, shed, something might shed its hair. You might have a Labrador dog like I've got that sheds its hair. So that would be the other meaning of the word shed, but it does not mean sturdy or steady. And house doesn't mean sturdy or steady either. So I'm going to circle stable. I'm going to mark that on my multiple choice answer sheet, and then I'm going to cross that question off. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.